Hello and welcome to your English 3200 summer class. And yes, we are going to be doing 8 weeks worth of work in 6 weeks. So hold on tight. Here we go. What you have on your syllabus, this is just a syllabus walkthrough, is my name and the phone number that is easiest to reach me by. I am in Eastern Standard Time in the US. Here's an alternate phone number. It is my cell phone. So if I'm out and about, that's an easy way to get a hold of me. And of course my email. For this class, you should know that your attendance on the discussion board is like showing up to class. So if you show up there, you get credit for being in class. Also, you'll want to make sure that you have quick access, edition 8. All of the references will be made to edition 8. And business communications in person and print online in the 10th edition of Newman. So you have the ISBN numbers there, and you could rent them, you could purchase them, you can go through Amazon. You don't have to go through our school bookstore to get them, and may find they're actually cheaper if they're used. So make sure you have those ready to go for next week, so order them now. And you know the prereqs. These are our outcomes. They used to be known as objectives. These are the things we're attempting to do in the class. And I'm going to zip on down to the actual layout of the class here. Going to zip. There we go. And that's what's listed here. So when you see these numbers on your syllabus, it actually means these are the outcomes I think we're working on during that week. You are achieving these outcomes. And that's important because not only do you need to know what your outcomes are to do well in the course, you also want to make sure you're achieving the outcomes that the course was intended to achieve. So moving on to our second page, this is the standard. You've probably seen this before if you've had our class at Northwood. The standard practices: be nice, play well with others, show up and turn your stuff in. Basically how you succeed not just in school but at work. The online format, you are expected, because it is a shorter semester, you're expected to be doing 7 to 8 hours online with me, and then an additional 6 to 7 doing homework. I don't think, most weeks I don't think it'll be that strenuous. Depends on how fast you type and how fast you read. But there will be a couple weeks that you may feel, yeah, I hit those marks. So clear your schedules. You've got 6 weeks with me, and it's pretty intensive. All of your work will be due by midnight Eastern Standard Time. So you will want to make sure for that week all the submissions are in by that time. I will, however, be setting early deadlines. It is not because I want you to turn stuff in early. It is that once I start grading these things, people cannot see their comments unless it's closed. So I'll be putting an announcement out saying you still have till the end of the week for these assignments, but be sure, but it will say, Tuesday deadline, just because I want people to be able to see in advance and start working on their revisions. We do a lot of revisions in the class, so I want you to have time to do it. I will let you know if there is an early deadline. For instance, the very first week, part of Northwood's way that they tell if you're actually enrolled in the classes, you will have to respond to one discussion board. And that discussion board will have to be completed by Wednesday of the first week. That's not this Wednesday, but a week from Wednesday on the 23rd. So if you're not, you'll be dropped from the class. So that's an example of when you might have to do something a little earlier. Another example is when we are doing peer reviews, I will set your deadlines a little earlier so that people will have time to actually read your stuff and give you feedback. So you'll have it on a Friday. Step 1 will be on a Friday, and then you can complete the assignment by Sunday midnight. Okay, these are computer-related issues. Make sure you have a backup in case your electricity gets knocked out, or you lose your flash drive, or your computer stops working. I like my local library. Their internet is super fast and it's free, and I can go there, but you may have a friend or a second computer, an alternate place where you can get internet. Just make sure you have a plan in place for those, a contingency plan. Your assessments, you will have a lot of exercises and tests in Blackboard, and then all of our memos and our business report will be submitted and Turnitin. Discussion board expectations. Here's my thinking on this. It's not really a discussion if you show up Sunday night, plop some ideas down, and leave. That's just you reporting. Nobody gets to respond to you. Nobody gets to think further. So in order to receive an A, just a regular A, you will need to appear at least 2 separate days. If you would like 100%, some of my students are particular about that. They want to be eligible for 100%. You will appear at least 3 separate days. So you can think of it kind of like your email. You could check it every day and see if anybody has said something that interests you and respond to them. And I do have a separate sheet on what qualifies as a good response. It is not just, yay, I'm glad you're doing it, or, oh, that's too bad. No, you need to add to the conversation, which means you have to share your experience and what worked for you, what you're thinking might work, give suggestions, help each other out. That's really discussing. Ask questions. Well, do you think it's this, or do you think it's that? That's discussing. So, if you want the 100%, you will pop in there 3 separate times during the week at least, and you will add to the discussion by asking questions, by offering your experience, things that have worked for you. Okay, good. I'm going to skip over academic integrity because I'm going to teach you how to be honorable in academia. And where does not respond? Ah, there we go. It's back. And you want to know how to get your grades. This is broken into, there are lots of ways to get points here, and you will be pleased to know that the business report we start in week 1, so we're not leaving it all to the end. In fact, you'll be submitting your final report in week 4 so that you can get feedback and have a chance to revise it, because there are a lot of moving parts with that. It's a big project. So we're going to start right away getting things in order so that you're not overwhelmed at the end. We already talked about your discussion boards, and within those discussion boards, each week you'll receive an exercise, something, an idea I want you to try out during the week, and then at the end I want you to report your results, and that's how you get 30% of your grade between attending 3 times a week and doing the exercises. Your memos are 30%. Since this is a business writing course, we have 4 memos, 4 official memos, and for each of those you will get feedback, and you will be allowed to revise them in week 6. The final week you can revise any one that is not pleasing to you, and that serves your ends because you can build the grade you want, and it serves my ends because I know you will learn through that process. Whereas if I just tell you it's wrong, it doesn't help you because you don't get a chance to try out what's right. So those are optional. You do not have to do them. You will get a chance to decide what you're willing to accept and what you're not, and what you're willing, how much time you have to devote to it. You will have a series of tests. Currently there are 3, so that's not a whole lot. They're multiple choice. They're super easy. As long as you see the PowerPoints or videos, I guess they'll be now. As long as you watch the video that goes with it, you should be able to do pretty well on the test. They are designed kind of as practices before you actually start writing that way. And then we talked about your final business report. That's 10% of your grade. The business report assignments are the steps. I told you we'd be starting right away, and you will be doing steps to get to that final report. So you get 10% just for doing the steps, and you get 10% for the final report. And then you have a final exam in week 6 that covers all the basic concepts that we cover in the class. Alright, so now let's look at how this course schedule is laid out. It's a little different than what you've seen because I've added this element here so you can clearly see these are the steps we're taking towards that big project, the business report. And then these are our normal everyday things, our memos, and all the exercises that you're to do and the tests that you're to do. So there are 6 weeks, short little run there. Word is not responding, but that's okay because we've covered it all. So this is our basic guide. I will send out an email if we have to adjust anywhere because it depends. If everybody's falling behind, I'll have to adjust for you. So, but this is the plan. This is what I intend for us to do. All right, I'm really excited about starting this process with you.